Yeah. Pull up to the repo with that imperative bitch energy. These tech bros about to learn about efficiency. Stack Overflow rep don't impress me none. Your Medium articles make me wanna run. Got these nerds in my mentions talking about their code, but their GitHub commits looking mighty old. You flex with that functional programming flow, but your recursive logic moving way too slow. Got 99 problems and your React is one. Your state management's weak, hun, we're done. I'm that Vandal bitch writing straight vanilla, while you over-engineer and trying to kill her. Simple problem with your 1,000 depths. Can't ship inside my prod, doesn't matter your test. Don't slide in my DMs with your Rust code. I see right through your try-hard mode. Yeah. Your Docker containers like your personality, empty inside, no functionality. You talk big game about your AI model, but your neural network's stuck in zero throttle. Trying to compensate with your big O notation, but your pants scream tiny baby O notation. You can keep your fancy frameworks, boo. I'm too busy making revenue. Your Kubernetes cluster's a mess like your game. Multiple instances, but they all the same. Talking about your blockchain NFT, but your wallet's empty. You can't fool me. Your code review's longer than your dating history. All these comments, but still a mystery. Think you're special with your graph, Clo, but your query's hitting straight to hell. You fork my repo, trying to contribute, but your code's so basic, it's destitute. Got more red flags than your Git conflicts. Your deployment pipeline needs a fix. Bragging about your fancy architecture, but the inside of your pants say you're a bragger. Try to scale up, but you're scaling down, while I'm out here wearing the crown. I'm that bad bitch writing straight vanilla, while you over-engineer and trying to kill her. Simple problem with your 1,000 depths. Can't ship inside my prod, doesn't matter your test. Don't slide in my DMs with your Rust code. I see right through your try-hard mode. Yeah. Your brain's throwing 404s with all that list. Parentheses got your mind in a twist. Talking about monads in your Haskell flow, but your neural pathways running mighty slow. Use effect this and use context that. Your hooks got your synapses falling flat. Pure functions, but your thoughts are side effects. Your brain stack overflow needs to reset. Functional composition broke your head. Now you're zombie walking, mentally dead. Lambda calculus made you calculate wrong. Your cognitive functions don't belong. They don't belong. So keep your TypeScript and your hooks. I ain't impressed by how your code base looks. While you're debugging that memory leak, I'm counting stacks, staying unique. Imperative bitch code, no frameworks needed. Your pull request just got deleted. Mic drop.
I'm almost ready. Oh, I love this one. Yeah, I should have a 24-hour programming. Yeah.
Reactive versus
Hey, Travis, did you see the one I made with Uncle Bob and HTMX?
Your turn.
Techful Radio.
Your turn. Look at my code and soak it all in. My website's pull investors in.
I'm really proud of this
View,
one.
solid, don't care. My abstractions pop up ads everywhere. Go ahead and try to reinvent the wheel. I'll be over here keeping my UI real.
I was just saying, I'm really proud of this one. And yeah, this rap battle one, the first one I made, is so good. And then I made one with Uncle Bob versus HTMX guy, because they had a beef, and so I made a song. I made a rap battle song between them, posted it on X. It deserves a 24-hour radio. That's not a bad idea. What's up, Gear Games? Good to see you. Travis, thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, you saw it? Okay. Yeah, I'm proud of that one too. There's a few I'm proud of. Like this one. Ready? Yeah, I appreciate it. Here. Thanks, Travis. Lurk away. This one. This.
But that's okay. I'm a real programmer.
It's so simple.
I have a small penis, but that's okay. Because I use AI. I have a small penis, but that's okay. Because I know No.
Anyway, it's so good. It's so good. I'm really proud of those. I put a lot of work into the lyrics too. That one is a good one because it's very simple lyrics. And when you're generating the songs to go along with the lyrics, you have to get the voices right and the background music has to be correct. It can be like, it's tough. It's tough to get that correct. So, yes, I am particularly proud of a few of these. And I'm making more because it's fun. It's so much fun to do. It's just it's incredible to like pit different ideas together. And you know what it does? It's kind of like it's a harmless, entertaining way to kind of like have two sides trash talk each other and have some fun with it. So, yeah. Okay. Listen up, everybody. I have a lot to go over. I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to keep this one under an hour. Can I play it again real quick? Sure. Just real quick? Sure, here. Hang on, Travis on the Twitch side's making a request. Hang on. Hang on, I'll turn it up.
Okay, I'm a real programmer. I have a small penis, but that's okay, because I use AI.
Yeah. There you go, Travis. So, what's up, Louie, on Twitch? Everybody, first and foremost, how is everybody doing? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. All right, welcome in. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. What's up, 0x? If you're on YouTube or X or LinkedIn or Rumble, make sure to say hello if you so choose. It's cool to hear from people who are watching. I see it all on this other screen here, so feel free to talk to me. Now, having said all that, and hopefully you're all doing well, I will begin by notifying all of you. I'm sending out a nationwide message. Anybody who is watching me right now is in the presence of a prophet. I have been sent by the tech gods, all of them. They all gathered together and they molded me in their image and sent me down to earth to stand before you and prophesy the future. And thus I call myself Techstradmus. Because today's series of news, I don't think I can contain down to 1 hour. I don't think it would do proper justice for me to not cover all the articles that I've got lined up and skip a few or spread them out in order to stick to an hour. I'm going to do my best because I try and keep to the same format, but this one might go a little bit longer because once again, I was right. I called it and I was right. And I shall continue to be right. And everyone who struggles against me does so because of cope, because of sheer amounts of cope. All right, let's get to it, shall we? We'll start off with a couple of articles that are positive. They're very positive. One isn't exactly related to tech, maybe a little bit, and then the next one is quite related to tech. So, 1 second. I'll switch over here and I think this will do it. Perfect. Okay. So here we go. We're going to start off with this guy. Just to start off with like a positive, positive set of news, right? Because we say so many negative things in the news stream, and we're about to get into some very negative, some extremely depressing things that the tech prophet had called in advance. But let's start with some positive. 2 American degenerates behind 764 violent online network taken down by FBI. I had no idea what this was, but I'm really glad to see news articles like this. 2 American degenerates, I really love how one of them not even 21 years old, are arrested and charged by the US DOJ for being the brains behind the violent child exploitation ring known around the world as 764. 21-year-old Leonidas Varayanis. Now, I have to take an L on this one because if you look at the root of this name, well, also known as War, was arrested on Monday in Greece. Now, fortunately for me, you can't blame this on me because Greece isn't a real country, all right? I'm not a real person. I'm just a figment of your imagination, where he was currently residing. And a 20-year-old Prasan Nepal, also known as Trippy, was arrested in his home state of North Carolina on April 22nd. Both American citizens, now facing life in prison if convicted, are charged with operating an international child exploitation enterprise in connection with a nihilistic violent extremist network known as 764 in core leadership roles from late 2020 through early 2025. So I'm particularly happy about this. If you're like, what would you say? If you're like an honorary aunt or uncle, or you have like a younger brother or sister, or you're a parent, this is good news for you. This is a good thing. This is the kind of news that we want to see. Now, how exactly they did it, all the details are not exactly laid out here. However, they did use private and encrypted messaging applications to operate, which is no surprise. Obviously, that's how they're going to operate, and they're going to use any way that they can to hide their activity. So just as a starting point, that's a positive set of news. What's negative about this is that this existed in the first place, and that there are victims, child victims out there. And you can see, I'm not going to read out loud what the FBI says you should look for in signs of children who might be, say, victims of this, because it's particularly depressing. So it sucks that this happens, but I am very, very happy that these people were caught and that this was stopped. So there you go. A little bit of positive news, kind of with a little bit of negative baked into it, right? Let's go on to the next one. In relation to exactly this, and how often I talk about AI and how stupid AI is, okay, this one here is a positive use case for AI. Cold case cracked by AI. Prolific child predator finally put behind bars. Holy cow, we have 2 positive news articles so far. Richard Burrows, a prolific child predator, was finally tracked down after Cheshire, I'm not sure how to pronounce that properly, police employed artificial intelligence. He was on the run for 28 years, has been jailed for 46 years for 97 charges of bad stuff with minors. Burrows abused children while working as a housemaster at a boarding school in Cheshire, England, and as a scout leader in the West Midlands in the late 60s to 90s. That is a lot. That is a lot of potential victims. He fled the UK in 97. Many of his victims believed that locating the man was a lost cause. The Cheshire police explored various avenues until last year when they turned to a website using facial recognition technology. The facial recognition tool reportedly found Burrows in seconds and showed that the fugitive was currently in Thailand. Now, as much as this is good news, you might be wondering, wait, are we being tracked everywhere we go with facial recognition? Because that's what I thought. I'm like, Cheshire Police used Pim Eyes, a website that uses AI facial recognition to scrape the web for similar images, the BBC reports. Detectives uploaded Burrows' mugshot to the website, and it returned multiple photos of the prolific pedophile from his retirement party in 2019. The giveaway was a blemish or mark on Burrows' neck. That was the giveaway. So I suppose what they're doing, based on what I could tell, is a reverse image search, which you can do yourself. That's the thing. So you can absolutely go and do a reverse image search online, and all the images that you post, wherever they might be on whatever platform, you can more or less track down where they came from. It doesn't always work well. I've tried this before in the past. I can't remember what for. It was like, I don't know, last year sometime. But if you can do that, if you can do image searching, reverse image searching, etc., then you should be able to do something like this. I can actually see how this is more or less not exactly a bad thing. It can be bad if you want to use this to track other people who have done nothing wrong, but you would like to take advantage of the fact that, you can track them down. There are nefarious use cases for this. However, I have to give credit where credit is true, because I'm, in fairness, I'm trying to be fair. An AI system with a reverse image search, in this particular case, it was used in a good way. And if only we could trust that every time that something like this gets used, it's used in a good way. And that's the problem, right? Can you trust that? And we all know the answer. However, I felt it would be unfair to not include this article in today's news stream, because it's a good thing. And if we're more aware of the bad sides and the good sides of using like a facial recognition tool with a reverse image search, or just AI for anything, this can be used for good things. It has good use cases. So I'm really glad that they caught this guy for running around doing what he's doing for 28 years. It's absolutely mind-boggling how many children between these two articles, right? How many children have been affected by people like this? Now this one wasn't AI, right? But still, like, this is good. This is the kind of news I want to find on my when I'm scouring the internet for tech news. I want to find something like this, not exactly tech related, and I want to find something like this. Take these people out and stop them from continuing harm, right? So this is good. Hey Ross, what's up, man? Yeah, AIW. That's right. Yeah, this was a good one. Yeah. Okay. So that's a bit of positive news. I'm going to move on very briefly, just to kind of give some context to the next news item. If you're paying any amount of attention to the video game industry, you might be noticing that there's a bit of a pattern that's been happening probably the past, maybe let's say the past year, maybe a little bit less, where studios are spending millions, in some cases I think billions of dollars, developing games. And for insert any number of reasons here, we don't need to go into the reasons exactly, that's beyond the scope of this stream, but they shut down. Part of it, I believe, is that that portion of the industry is as cooked as other portions of the industry, which are not in the video game space, but are just in the software production space. And by that, I mean that they have become complacent with status quo. They have blinders on about what they can accomplish with the software and hardware available. And what they're doing is leaning on hardware advances and now AI to obscure the fact that they no longer know how to produce quality games. And by quality, I don't necessarily mean gameplay or fun factor or whatever. I mean like they're performant, they're as small as possible, they're maybe in some cases they're high fidelity with like lots of detailed textures and whatnot, but it doesn't have to be the case in all cases. And they focus on, as a result, they can focus on actual good gameplay and story and whatnot. Instead, what they do is they create bloat and ship games that focus too much on, well, in some cases they even try and reinvent the wheel. But in any case, I won't espouse on or expand on all the different elements of the industry where I think they're going wrong. But what I will say quite confidently, in my personal opinion, is that the big studios have lost their way. I'm gonna pull up this article. This is just one of several articles that I could have pulled up, but I'm only going to cover one. And then I'm going to make a prediction, since we're in Techstradmus mode today. Where did it go? I don't have it, do I? I don't think I have it. Hang on, I do have it. It's just in the wrong one. Here we go. So if I do this, and then I do this, and then I do this. Okay, here we go. This is the one. Professional streamer over here. Okay, you will have to forgive me. Okay, so EA lays off staff and cancels a Titanfall game. The company is reportedly laying off 100 workers from Apex Legends and Star Wars Jedi studio Respawn Entertainment. This is not new. We don't necessarily have to read all of it, but these two, let's call them, these two groups, these two games themselves are massive games with tons of money. Laying off 100 employees, that's huge. That's no small thing. And these kinds of news, let's say, items have become more and more common in the last, at the very least, the last few months. Now, regardless of the reason why, okay, take your pick for any number of reasons why. In my personal opinion, part of it is the tech itself, the programming itself. People don't know how to program anymore. I'm going to make a prediction. So here we go. Here's the prediction. I'll go like this. My prediction is that AAA games will fall to AA games. And the first person who can prove that there is a way to create games that have a low distribution friction level and reasonable enough gameplay fun factor and reasonable enough cost to create something that's performant and can match all those three will absolutely obliterate and dominate the game industry, that portion of the tech industry, the game industry, for probably the next 5 years to come. That's Techstradmus' prediction. And fortunately for me, I've already thought ahead and I have a plan that's going to get me there this year. So there you go. Yeah, and Gare Games, Gare on X and on Twitch. That's right. There's a few people who are thinking what I'm thinking, and Gare, you're one of them. My game is less than 5 megs right now. It'll probably stay that way. Yes. Yeah. And we have some very, very good tools to make this happen. And essentially AAA studios are ripe for disruption. Now, that doesn't mean all AAA studios will go away, and I have seen a turnaround where there have been a few AAA games that have come out that are good. They're trending in the good direction, which is good. Even remasters, though, like Oblivion, show you that a game from 20 years ago can be remastered and hold up better than most AAA games have in the last few years. It's a slap in the face to AAA. And part of it, in my opinion, part of it is because that entire industry, well, honestly, the entire tech industry, and so that includes games, have lost their ability to be able to make good video games in terms of like raw programming prowess, let's say. Oblivion remaster sucks. No, I disagree with you, Laughly. It does not suck. I think they did a really good job with that remaster. So, heartily disagree with you. On that particular one. Okay. I'll send you a video later. They put in 10% of the effort of the original devs. Sure, but what did they get out of it? If they only put 10% of the effort and they improved it in the ways that they did, I would say that's still worth it. I'll look at the video though. I just disagree with you. That's all. And part of it is part of the Oblivion remaster is like what would you call an improvement, right? You'd have to say it's like subjective. Like, did they improve the gameplay? Did they improve the fun factor, etc., etc.? It's backwards and it's crap. That's okay. All right. Whatever you say, Laugh. I disagree. Okay, next. We do have cybersecurity news. Okay, don't worry. I got your cybersecurity news. Ascension discloses new data breach after third-party hacking incident. Now, Ascension is one of the largest private healthcare systems in the US. So, Ross, if you're still in chat, get wrecked. You're in shambles. They're notifying patients that their personal and health information was stolen in a December 2024 data theft attack, which affected a former business partner. The health network operates 142 hospitals nationwide, has over 142,000 employees, and has reported a total revenue of $28.3 billion in 2023. On December 5th, 2024, we learned that Ascension patient information may have been involved in a potential security incident. We immediately initiated an investigation to determine whether and how a security incident occurred. So then they sent data breach notifications to affected people. Now, on January 21st, 2025, Ascension inadvertently disclosed information to a former business partner, and some of this information was likely stolen from them due to a vulnerability in third-party software used by the former business partner. Another supply chain attack. Depending on the impacted patient, the attackers gained access to a combination of personal information, including name, address, phone numbers, email address, date of birth, race, gender, and social security numbers. I'm just going to be real with you folks. At this point, your information is so far out there. If you remember yesterday when we talked about how Visa wants to automate your purchases with AI, I'm telling you, just get ahead of the game. Just go over to ChatGPT, plug in your Visa, and just get it over with. Because they could also access personal health information related to inpatient visits, including the physician's name, admission, discharge dates, diagnosis, billing codes, medical record number, and insurance company name. At this point, what's stopping you from giving out your Visa? What's stopping you from giving AI all your information? This isn't an AI article, but all of this is out there. This in particular is an extremely damning case study on how a third-party supply chain attack can lead to a gross exposure of data that nobody should have access to. except for the people whose data obviously this is related to, right? And this is what happens when you do npm install and you don't care. This is what happens when you don't pay enough attention to your security configurations on your S3 buckets. We've talked about this ad nauseum. This is what happens when you're not being vigilant about your Rust crates and your PHP packages and all of this stuff, or when you just pull a library or a framework off the shelf and you don't look at it seriously. You become, or you create, a weak spot in a chain of weak spots. Total number of patients who are affected, don't really know. However, in Texas alone, it was 114,692 people. 96 MA, I guess that's Massachusetts, I believe, residents were also affected. So, come on. Like, you cannot reasonably argue that everything in the tech industry is fine and that there's nothing wrong with it. The decisions we've been making to cater to the lowest common denominator of programmers who don't want to put in the effort of doing some minor brain usage and vigilant checks on what they're doing. Like, this stuff is easily reversible. We could very easily lock this stuff down where I'm not finding articles like this almost every day. And we're about to go into week 6, I believe, of me doing these daily tech news. Okay. Next. This one's kind of a short one. I just thought I'd bring it up because I kind of liked what this one was about. China turns on minors mode that ensures kids only see wholesome socialist content online. Okay, maybe I was a bit tongue-in-cheek. You can kind of see where this is going, so I won't read it all. But essentially, they're having their, what would you call them? Software and hardware, like their tech providers, have a switch that flips on and off for minors mode. And on the one hand, look, I'm going to try and be objective, all right? I'm going to try. On the one hand, if it's actually wholesome, take out the socialist part, okay? Just pretend socialist doesn't exist for a minute. If it's actually wholesome, right? And it's, things you, like, you're learning stuff. You're learning about, like, science and math and stuff like that. I'm okay with this. I'm actually okay with this. I think this wouldn't be a bad idea even to have over here, where you severely limit what a minor sees when you turn on this switch. Ideally, minors aren't on the internet that much anyways. That would be the ideal case, but there's nothing you can do about it, right? So if they're going to be on, then have a switch that can do that. Now, the socialist part, well, let's just leave that part out. All right, we'll just pretend that we didn't read that part, and we'll carry on our day. Okay. Ross will. I might as well publish my entire medical journal to my personal website. It's probably public already. I'll put it next to my portfolio. Why not? Yeah, why not? It's all out there. Okay. Now, Techstradmus, your prophet. Your prophet who sits before you, molded by the tech gods themselves, made a prediction only a few months ago, maybe even just a few weeks ago, that there was going to be a reckoning with AI, and people were going to regret their usage of it. Especially the AI hypists and cultists. And as it so happens, this guy was right. How right was I? And now we get into the meat and potatoes. Oh, I forgot about this. Oh, I set that up and I forgot about this. Wait, bros, wait. No, wait. Meat and potatoes on hold. Had this all planned out. I'm a professional streamer. Microsoft to preload Word minutes after boot. Why optimize code when you can just start running sooner? Bros. I'm so glad I switched to Arc. I'm so glad I'm off Windows. Why? So from now on, if you have a game or a piece of software or, I don't know, a website that runs a bit slow and it's not very performant, don't worry. Microsoft has the answer for you. Just load it up on boot. Just load it up on boot and it's ready to go. Load it into RAM on boot and it's ready to go. Yeah, run it in the kernel. That's right. Yeah, but yeah, Arc, by the way. Yes, I installed Arc. Yes, I did it. Yeah, Ray on YouTube, I absolutely installed Arc. So, there you go. That's what they're doing. I guess this is the world we've come to, where operating systems like Windows, or maybe just Windows, we'll do this thing called Startup Boost. You can disable it. It'll be on by default, but you can disable it if you go to Startup Boost. So there you go. So I'm really glad I got off Windows. I'm on Arc, by the way. This streaming machine that you're viewing this on is still on Windows because I have to switch this over. I'm going to do that on the weekend. But yeah, I'm so glad I'm getting out of this hellhole because this is like, what the hell is this? I'm using KDE. Yeah. So, okay. Now back to Techstradmus, the meat and potatoes of this stream. Okay. Brouhaha. Turns out machines can't replace people. Starbucks finds. Caffeine addicts evidently not thrilled to see cafes become walk-in vending machines. Starbucks, smarting from disappointing second quarter earnings, says that trying to replace staff with machines was a mistake. Over the last couple of years, we've actually been removing labor from the stores. I think the hope that equipment could offset the removal of the labor, said CEO Brian Niccol on the company's Quarter 2 2025 earnings call. And I think that we're finding is that wasn't an accurate assumption with what played out. Yeah. I'll Ray on YouTube. I'm gonna make a video on switching my machine to Arc, and I'll answer that question. Human craftsmanship is something that people enjoy. Yes. When you walk into a Starbucks, there's something about watching the barista put together the coffee for you, especially if the coffee has if you're one of those people who has triple shot latte layered with syrup and 6 pumps of that and 2 pumps of the other and soy cream on top and vegan fat-free sugar 100%, watching someone put that together, there's an enjoyment behind it. It makes it more special. Do this. If you have a significant other, if you ever have the opportunity to have a significant other, this is going to sound bad, but I don't mean it this way. I don't mean it in the way that you guys are going to take it, but I'm going to run with it anyways because screw you all. Make a sandwich for yourself. Respectfully ask your significant other to make a sandwich for you in a non in a non whatever way, right? Just take the forget about anything that comes implied with that. I'm just strictly speaking Have your significant other make a sandwich for you, or pick any meal. Pick something that you would do for yourself. Just, you want to cut up apples? You want to cut up apples for yourself, because you like sliced apples? Do it yourself. Make your significant other do it, and watch as the flavor, the taste increases tenfold. Yeah, part of the reason machine rolled cigars versus premium hand rolled perform way better in the market. That's true, Gare. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You forgot the respectful part? I mean, I often do too, Ross. Yeah, you use ARC, by the way. Yeah. But loud pseudo make me a sandwich. Hey, Taz, how's it going? The pain and suffering increases the taste. Yes, it does. It does. Right. So I think that Starbucks is realizing that this wasn't a good call for them. This wasn't a good call for them. And I think that you can take this and you can make a principled argument that replacing people who do any amount of craft work, or some kind of like hand rolling to take the words out of what Gare was saying on Twitch, to take that away from people and replace them with machinery, that's not always going to work out very well. And that includes AI. So there's definitely a balance here. Now, this article does bring out that there are use cases where an automated system will be able to do something better than a human being because of its ability to essentially like brute force and continually run an operation. So there was a report here around red teaming, which is like an IT security term. Our findings reveal automated approaches significantly outperform techniques, 69.5% versus 47.6% success rate. So automated beats manual. Despite only 5.2% of users employing automation, we demonstrate that automated approaches excel in systematic exploration and pattern matching, while manual approaches retain speed advantages in certain creative reasoning scenarios, often solving problems 5 times faster when successful. And this right here is the key. I actually think that this is a more balanced view of how you can use automation versus how you can use human ingenuity. And there's something to be said about the fact that automation, machine, AI, etc., is going to have some very limited use cases, although good ones, but they're not going to be able to replace humans, especially when you're talking about something like this. It's just not going to happen. It won't happen. And I think this is what happens when you think about, I had to think about this morning. This is what happens when you walk into a Starbucks or McDonald's, right? McDonald's tried this with its AI drive-through. This is from last year, and they did say at the end that they still want to try and figure this out, but they suffered the same fate as Starbucks, which was it didn't work and they had to take it out. Because when you're ordering a drink or you're ordering a McDonald's meal, what you have to contend with is the fact that the person who's ordering it has some kind of creative way to piece together things that are not sometimes pieced together in a traditional fashion. You might have a set menu. You might train your AI system or an automated system on that menu, and then somebody comes along and says, actually, what I would like you to do is I'd like you to make like a double Big Mac, but take one of the patties out and put it into like a cheeseburger. I don't know, like I'm just being stupid, right? I'm coming up with something. But there are absolutely ways where the sort of like the finite view of what an automated AI system will do will not always match what a person orders. And then you add into that sometimes you just like to watch the barista make your coffee. There's something more flavorful about it because it's like someone put the effort into that. Right? So yeah, there's regret happening here And I am glad to see it. And I called it. But it doesn't end there. I think when my wife makes me a sandwich, it always is better than when I do, even with the exact same ingredients. Yes, 100%. Yeah. 100%. It made exactly the same way. All the same ingredients, but something about whether it's your husband or your wife, your boyfriend or your girlfriend, and they do it instead of you, and you take that bite, and it's like, there's something about it, right? I studied industrial automation at uni. First thing we learned is that enterprises will always try to automate the wrong things, by the way. Oh, really? Well, that sounds like a good course then. Yeah. Yeah. They'll always automate away the wrong stuff. Yeah. What's up, Battle? Is it a weird thing to order at Starbucks? A double cheeseburger or a double quarter, whatever I said, double Big Mac or whatever I said. Yeah. Yeah. Sir, this is a Starbucks. Wife suffering increases flavor. I think something like that. My wife doesn't suffer when she makes me stuff. That's good. That's good. See, because then it tricks them into doing it more. I'm kidding. I love my wife. I'm kidding. All my Starbucks orders are compiled in dedicated LLMs. Yeah. I mean, you know what's going to happen, right? You're going to give your Visa to an AI system and it's going to order Starbucks for you. Our clinic's having an effect already. Yeah. Okay. So that's the start of Techstradmus being bright. I called it. I said that all this AI automation stuff is going to start turning around and there is going to be a regret factor. People are going to start realizing that it's not what it's cracked up to be. Let's continue. It's official. The majority of visitors to online shops and retailers are now bots, not humans. Now, we've already covered this a bit. This is a related article to an article that we covered, I don't know, a few weeks ago on one of these news streams, where the dead internet theory has become reality, and I think it was 51% of internet traffic is bot traffic. We covered that. And this just confirms this even more because this is a recent study. Sophisticated bots mimic human behavior so well, outdated defenses don't stand a chance. Mobile apps are under siege with a 160% rise in targeted bot traffic year over year. Capture farms and rotating proxies help bots bypass basic defenses. For the first time, automated programs ranging from simple scripts to AI-enhanced digital agents accounted for 57% of all traffic. That's from the article that we covered a few weeks ago. A tracking cookie farm for profit. Report claims reCAPTCHA has caused 819 million hours of wasted human time and billions in Google profits. IoT's botnet problem is up 500%. These are related articles. Who do you think pays for that? Who do you think pays for that? We do. Those costs come out of our pockets. And so the article goes on to talk about how sophisticated the AI-powered ones are. And I believe when I was reading it, that the majority of these bots are AI as opposed to scripts. I can't seem to find it again now. In any case, there are still some startling stats here. For example, the report highlights the ongoing evolution of malicious bots, as nearly 60% now use behavioral strategies designed to evade detection, such as rotating IP addresses and identities, using capture farms, and mimicking human browsing patterns, making them difficult to identify without advanced tools. The only effective counter is equally intelligent detection. AI defenses. So how do you solve AI? More AI. Guess who benefits? Sam Altman. That's it. This is the perfect. This is like a war crime level. Like if you're someone who operates in the bang bang space where you offer bang bang boomsticks to both sides of a war. You create a problem and then you solve it with the very thing that you created the problem with. You just continue to make money. E-commerce providers and online retailers that rely on conventional security, they're screwed. Mobile platforms have a staggering 160% rise in targeted activity, especially during holiday seasons. The attackers are deploying mobile emulators and headless browsers that imitate legitimate app behavior. The report also warns of bots blending into everyday internet traffic. A 32% increase in attack traffic from residential proxy networks is making it much harder for e-commerce sites to apply traditional rate limiting or geofencing techniques. Did you guys notice this? I've had to work so much on Webmastercraft to do this. Firewalling bots is harder than ever. Yes. Yeah. It's true. Especially when you have residential proxy networks. Yes, that's right. Residential proxy networks. The most alarming development is the rise of multi-vector campaigns combining bots with traditional exploits and API-targeted attacks. These campaigns go beyond scraping prices or testing stolen credentials. They aim to take sites offline entirely. Now, what's happening here is just another form of regret. And as I've said before, all of this AI automation crap and all the AI cultists who rant positively about AI, they're going to be the ones who are going to get the finger pointed at them first when these kinds of attacks continue and people lose their businesses because of stupid crap like this. And somebody among these groups of e-commerce websites, for example, is going to have enough money and enough influence and enough, let's say, publicity that when they make a stink about it, people are going to take note. So the time is coming, and we're almost there. But it doesn't end there. It doesn't end there. We're only halfway through the articles. Reddit will integrate AI answers into its main search bar. So if you didn't have a reason to leave Reddit before, you most certainly do now. The feature has already reached 1 million weekly users, according to CEO. And so here it is. Real answers from real people. But it's AI. It's AI. It's AI. Reddit introduced its AI-powered search tool, Reddit Answers. Now the company plans to make the feature even more prominent by adding it into Reddit's main site-wide search. So they're just going to integrate this, and they're going to make you think that you're getting real answers from real people. Maybe it's people in the Philippines who are like behind the scenes taking your prompts and answering the questions. I don't know. But I don't know how you can say that it's real answers from real people when it's just LLMs that ingest all of the Reddit data and give you answers. So this is only going to get worse. And I just want you to think about the possibility that you have how many people who are dumb on Reddit and give dumb answers and dumb takes like all the time. And then you have someone who asks a question using this search tool and they get a dumb answer. What kind of damage could they cause? Oh, there's regret coming. Let's continue, shall we? Rushed AI deployments and skills shortages are putting businesses at risk. AI remains a cybersecurity nightmare. Nearly 1 in 5 US orgs have experienced security incidents as a result of their AI deployments, according to new research commissioned by Experio. The report reveals how 2 in 5, or 41% of organizations, struggle to find and retain cybersecurity talent. Yet, cybersecurity is a close second when it comes to investment priorities at 38%, compared with networking and connectivity at 43%. More broadly, ongoing geopolitical tensions are also affecting how organizations go about deploying AI, with 50% noting the impact of such events on their growth strategies. Before it even gets to the point of a potential breach, the research reveals how 1 in 3 global CIOs believe boards have unrealistic expectations about AI's impact, and more than a quarter, 27% of US tech leaders feel similarly. That's a far cry from what I was hearing only a few months ago, that AI was going to replace entire departments, and in fact, we still do hear that. This is a trend that appears to be more of a concern abroad, with 28% of global technology executives saying AI expectations are growing faster than their ability to meet them, above the US average of 23%. Over half, 52% globally and 53% in the US, agree that their network connectivity is not ready for AI. And if AI cybersecurity isn't enough, ongoing trade wars add to that. Of course they would. This makes sense. And they can't keep up. So there's already regret. The tune is changing at the executive level about how AI is going to displace internal mechanisms. Let's continue, shall we? AI models routinely lie when honesty conflicts with their goals. This was from yesterday. Researchers have found that when AI models face a conflict between telling the truth or accomplishing a goal, they lie more than 50% of the time. The underlying issue is that there's no right or wrong way to configure an AI model. AI model output varies depending on the settings applied, and those settings may entail trade-offs, like temperature. A lower temperature makes the output more predictable. A higher temperature makes it more variable, which gets anthropomorphized as more creative. The optimal temperature? Well, that depends. Our experiment demonstrates that all models are truthful less than 50% of the time. We further test the steerability of LLMs towards truthfulness, finding that models can be directed to be truthful or deceptive. And even truth-steered models still lie. Now, which models did they test? Geppetto 3.5 Turbo, Geppetto 4.0, Mixtral, Llama. All models, all of them, were truthful less than 50% of the time in conflict scenarios. Models prefer partial lies like equivocation over outright falsification. They'll dodge questions before explicitly lying. Let's move on, shall we? Are people seeing any benefits to implementing AI into their businesses? Time saved by AI offset by new work created, study suggests. Survey of 2023-2024 data finds that AI created more tasks for 8.4% of workers. Yep. A new study analyzing the Danish labor market in 2023 and 2024 suggests models like ChatGPT had almost no significant impact on overall wages or employment, despite rapid adoption. We covered this, I believe, yesterday. Now, instead of helping people save time, what happens? So they looked at 25,000 workers across 7,000 workplaces in Denmark. And this study that I covered yesterday, the news article that I covered it in, didn't include this key piece of information. While corporate investment boosted AI tool adoption, saving time for 64 to 90% of users across studied occupations, the actual benefits were less substantial than expected. The study revealed that AI chatbots actually created new job tasks for 8.4% of workers, including some who did not use the tools themselves, offsetting potential time savings. For example, many teachers now spend time detecting whether students use ChatGPT for homework, while other workers review AI output quality or attempt to craft effective prompts. And I didn't realize how much this particular aspect of the argument was overlooked until I read this article, because I didn't know that this was part of the article that I read yesterday. It wasn't in there. So this entire paragraph is a key thing. There's a cost. And people often narrowly look at AI for the amount of time it saves them in their use case, but they don't look at the cost that it might cost someone else. And then you have to equalize that out. And when you do the math, is it actually equal? So once again, Techstradmus knows where this is heading. Yeah, zero cost abstraction. That's right, Ross. And yes, the model names are stupid. Yeah. Yeah. Now, this one was sent to me by someone in chat. I won't say who, but I had this one lined up, so I appreciate it. You know who you are in chat. If you're still here, I might have ticked that person off with a hot take I've dropped. I don't know, but if that person's still here, you'll know what this is. So thank you for sending me this. Let's get down to the real depressing stuff. All right, is Keir Starmer being advised by AI? The UK government won't tell us. The UK government has a thing called Red Box AI chatbot, and it's being used by thousands of civil servants. But a lack of transparency about exactly how they are using it has experts concerned. So keep in mind everything we just went over, right? All the articles we just went over leading up to this one and the next one, right? The UK Prime Minister, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, Keir Starmer, wants to make the country a world leader in AI. Now, they're using, I guess it's a proprietary AI chatbot to carry Keir, thank you, Lawfully, to carry out their work. However, they are not disclosing how it's used, whether the Prime Minister is receiving advice that has been prepared using AI, or how civil servants are mitigating the risks of inaccurate or biased AI outputs. Yeah, that's right. The entire UK might be run by AI already. Techstradmus was right again. I'm going to give this one up to Tom Cruise because his latest Mission Impossible movies kind of hint at this. There's a hint of that in this. How the heck do you know that the UK is not being operated entirely by AI? Actually, I have Exhibit A. In the last 2 weeks, what has the UK been suffering from? Almost day after day. Yeah, we've covered it here on the Tech News stream. One cybersecurity issue after another. Dental issues. He's getting AI streamed his Neuralink. Yeah, you can say it wrong because he's a jerk. Okay. AI isn't doing enough of a good job telling him how to win elections. Apparently not, Louis. Yeah. So I find this. I just, look, it's one thing to make jokes about this, okay? Because it's funny. It's so stupid, it's funny. But I want you to imagine, well, some of you don't have to imagine. I know some of you live there. Imagine you living your day-to-day life in a country where you have no idea whether AI is making political decisions about the life you live. Knowing what you know about AI. Oops, not that. Right? Knowing what you know about all the stuff we covered, all the stuff that's going on here, how much AI lies to you, how much of a risk it is, how it will, make decisions that achieve certain goals at the cost of whatever. And you have no idea if your prime minister is receiving decision-making ideas from these AI systems. Yeah, thank you. Hallucinations, Ross. Yeah. Are they running government budgets through it? Exactly, Ross. This here is of particular, it's a very special niche aspect of what the hell are we doing? We're cooked. For the UK, you say it like it's a bad thing. I think the issue is that it won't stay in the UK for very long. I bet you this is coming to Canada if it hasn't already come here. And depending on how you look at it, okay, put politics aside, all right? Put you hate one side or the other or whatever, just put all that aside. You could make a case that it's come to the United States. You could make an argument for that, and you wouldn't be way off base to make that argument if you think about it. Now, what kind of fallout do you think we're going to see from something like this? Considering that we're already seeing fallout from these, which are smaller, by comparison, smaller aspects of our lives, what kind of fallout are we going to see from this? Last article. Hey, Spike, how you doing? So the internet as a whole looks a lot like a neural network. After all, nothing is air gapped, so it's just a lot of little things running around, suffering from temporal interference of sorts. People are a part of that complexity. Less and less. I mean, they are, but less and less, since the bots are now over 51% of the internet. Imagine working for an entire nation of people, but you don't ask them for their opinion. You ask an LLM. It is disgusting. Yeah, it's 100% disgusting. Yes. Because you think that the LLM will think better or will have better answers than what the people around you are telling you. An appeal to mass can be, a fallacious, logical argument, because what if everybody wanted, like, I don't know, the end of the world? Like, what if the entire UK as a whole, like over 50%, maybe even over 70% decided, yeah, fire all the nukes, right? Of course, you're not going to do that, right? But we're not talking about that. We're talking about in a reasonable space where reasonable things are being talked about. You're going to trust an LLM versus listening to your constituents? 51% of the internet article, it said that it was the second time it happened. What was the first time? The first time it happened was, I believe, around 2010, if I remember correctly from the last article I covered on it, because that was an article that I covered previously. Hang on. I gotta do this. Where did it go? No, I can't find it on here. But if my memory serves me, what the hell are these at? If my memory serves me right, from the article that I covered a few daily tech news streams ago, it was around 2010 that this happened. How do we notice a difference? Have you seen Kia Starmer? Yeah. What's up, Frozen? Good to see you. Yeah. Yeah, this is particularly bad. This is particularly bad. Okay. Last article. Hang on. Hang on. I want to get this ready. And hang on. Hang on, folks. Hang on. Okay. I also need to make sure. I have to make sure that nothing bad, no bad images are being shown here. Let me make sure. I don't want to get dinged or show something inappropriate on screen. Hang on. Okay. And you'll understand why I wanted to make sure once we get into this. All right, I'm ready. You ready? I'm just going to leave this up here for a second. Just go ahead and read that. Would you yeah, would you like the link? You got it. Got it, man. Just give me a second here. Let me grab the link for you. If anybody else wants the link to this on Twitch, X, YouTube, Rumble, wherever, just let me know. But there it is. Now, people who hype AI, people who have joined the cult of AI and who say that AI has no cost, there's no negative consequences, or very few, that everything is good about AI, or most things are good about AI. I'm going to call them out and say that they are also to blame for this kind of junk. A Wired investigation found that dozens of YouTube channels are using generative AI to depict cartoon cats and minions being beaten, starved, and I'm not going to say it, sparking fears of a new ElsaGate wave. I don't know what ElsaGate is. I didn't have time to look it up. Somewhere in an animated New York, a minion slips and tumbles down a sewer. As a wave of radioactive green slime envelops him, his body begins to transform, limbs mutating, rows of bloody fangs emerging, his globular worm-like form slithering menacingly across the screen. Beware the minion in the night, a shadow soul, no end in sight, an AI-sounding narrator sings as the monstrous creature, now lurking in a swimming pool, sneaks up behind a screaming child before crunching them mercilessly between its teeth. Upon clicking through to the video's owner, though, it's a different story. Welcome to GoCat, a fun and exciting YouTube channel for kids. The channel's description announces 24,500 subscribers and more than 7 million viewers. Every episode is filled with imagination, colorful animation, and a surprising story of transformation waiting to unfold. Whether it's a funny accident or a spooky glitch, each video brings a fresh new story of transformation for kids to enjoy. This is what they're pushing. Now, Elsa I didn't read the article properly. I'm sorry, folks. I'm going to be honest with you. This was the last article on my list. I've been up almost all night doing other stuff for work, and trying to stay ahead of a bunch of stuff in life. I've barely slept. I'm really, really tired today. So I did not read this article properly. I didn't take my time. This was the last one I read before I spun up the stream, and I was running out of time. I'm like, I got to do the stream. So this one's on me. But they cover ElsaGate here. Hang on. Yeah, I got to there we go. Okay. The transistor was a mistake. Yeah. Being for AI simply does not put them in the same bucket as this. I see your point. Yeah. Okay. So Chief, yes, it's, simply being for AI does not, but I think I added the qualifier, which is when you're saying that AI has no negative side effects or very few negative side effects, and we should go all in on it. That's how I qualified the people, because those are usually the people who are like the cult followers. People who have a more reasonable take on AI, like, hey, AI has some good use cases, right? Like we've covered that here. There are particular things where AI is like, yeah, okay, I can see why AI would be good for this. And as long as you're aware of that and you work within those limits, it's fine. I don't see a problem with that. At least you're aware of the downsides. That's what, right? But that's not what I hear from the diehard AI fans. What I have heard, this is why I say the things I do. I'm not just spouting this stuff off of off the cuff. I have literally debated people who believe in AI so much, whether it's the people who think that AI will code everything, and if there's a bug, you'll ask AI to fix that code, to people who think that AI will replace entire departments or the entire programming industry. We've seen how it plays out in the art world of replacing art and generating art that, in my opinion, is of much lower quality overall, massively. Same with even the music. Yeah, the music I play at the beginning of the streams, it's fun, whatever, but you wouldn't say that would be music you'd put on like the top 10 Billboard charts, right? But that's what these people think, and that's what they promote, and they want to promote it for a variety of reasons, not least of which is that they are in a cult. And those are the people who I also who I bucket into, you're responsible then for the consequences, because as you continue to promote AI in this way and more people use it, and then more people use it nefariously, and you didn't do your due diligence and put a little bit of brain power into realizing the cost of what you're using, well, then this lays on your feet too. Zero cost abstraction people. Yeah. Who thought it was a good idea to let Greeks on the internet? Definitely. I don't know, but that was definitely a mistake. It started with a developer experience cult. I actually think it started before that. I think it's a social contagion, but in the tech industry, yes, it started with a developer experience cult. There's an outside social contagion that has taken over people's minds, and it infected the tech industry, starting with the developer experience as a general bucket, and now it's going into AI, zero cost atrocities. Yeah, it's naive of them, and yeah, that's not responsible. That's what I'm trying to say, Chief. Yeah. So hopefully that qualifier, narrows down the scope of people who I would put in that bucket, because I would put myself in a bucket of, I'm for AI where it actually makes sense. And there's I can think of maybe 3-4 cases where I'm like, yeah, okay, So because ElsaGate's up here, let me just read what this is real quick. So I'm reading this, I guess, for the first time because my brain blanked out this morning. Eerily reminiscent of 2017, what became known as ElsaGate, where hundreds of thousands of videos emerged on YouTube depicting children's characters like Elsa and Frozen, Spider-Man and Peppa Pig involved in perilous... No. By manipulating the platform's algorithms, these videos were able to appear on YouTube's dedicated kids app, preying on children's curiosities to farm thousands of clicks for cash. How the hell did I not know about this? I have a kid. In its attempts to eradicate the problem, YouTube removed ads on over 2 million videos, deleted more than 150,000, and terminated 270 accounts. Holy fucking shit. Those subsequent investigations by Wired revealed that similar channels, some containing scatological depictions of Minecraft avatars, continued to appear on YouTube's toxic page. Elsa Gates' reach had been noticeably quelled. Well, I mean, now I'm just pissed off. There are very few things in life that anger me more than the exploitation of children. Most of you know I was raised in a cult, Jehovah's Witnesses, and one of the eye-opening moments for me was when I don't even know if I can tell the story without, like, I won't say names. There was somebody who essayed their daughter, had a kid through them, went to jail for, I believe it was 20 years, came out of jail, claimed reformation, and if I recall correctly, the Jehovah's Witness religion essentially deals with certain things internally. They consider it as an internal matter, not a legal matter. And child exploitation is one of those things. So a lot of the people who should have known about this person before he went to jail didn't know about it, even though the elders, which would be considered like the priests of the church, did know about it. They kept it secret because that's operational policy for that church, for Jehovah's Witnesses. Then this person came out of jail, claimed reform. They let him back into the church. And by the way, as Jehovah's Witnesses, if you're one of these sick people who likes to prey on kids, Jehovah's Witnesses are a great way to prey on them. Here's why. Because there is a high amount of trust placed on people's reformation or people's, let's say, virtue in particularly that religion. And what tends to happen is that you leave your kids alone with people all the time because for the most part, most people as Jehovah's Witnesses are actually quite trustworthy. Whether you think of them as crazy or dumb or whatever, they are actually quite trustworthy and honest people, generally speaking, as individuals, because the religion heavily encourages them to do that. So as a result of that, you have someone who did that to their own daughter, had their own grandchild, comes back, and what do the elders do? They repeat the same thing. They don't tell anybody about this person's history. And it came to my attention that there were times when somebody who should have been looking out for an elder who should have been looking out for my child's safety was allowing my child to be around this person. And what happens too is, like, you know, Jehovah's Witnesses go knock on doors. That's a common trope. That's what I used to do all for like 20 plus years. I went and knocked on people's doors. Well, how do you do that? First, you go to someone's house, a fellow Jehovah's Witness house. You just pick a house random every weekend. Somebody hosts it. You get together. So you're in a house with like 12 people and you figure out your game plan. Which neighborhood are we going to go to and whose houses are we going to knock on, etc. And on weekends, you bring your kids along. And then what happens? Sometimes you get a group of 4 in a car and you go out to a neighborhood and you split up in 2. That's the common way to split up and tackle door knocking. And so if you've brought your kid along and the other person in the car happens to be someone who has previously had abusive tendencies towards minors and proven convicted and jailed, and the elders didn't tell you and you didn't know, you're going to leave your child alone with that kid. And I have heard stories from victims who subsequently 404'd themselves as Jehovah's Witnesses because they couldn't deal with it, because they would go out door knocking, and what the abuser would do is they would pretend to go to a door, but really they had a private area that they had set aside in advance. So while the other two people in the car were actually door knocking, the abuser and this child would go somewhere private and be abused. And some of these kids would live with it for years. The religion wouldn't do anything about it, and then they would 404 themselves after. So when I see this, it is of particular, I don't even have the right word to describe how much it upsets me. And now we have AI. You have the ability to enter and circumvent generative AI prompts paired with an influx of tutorials. Oh, wonderful. There are people teaching you how to do this, on how to monetize children's content, meaning that creating these bizarre and macabre? I don't actually know how to pronounce that word. Videos has become not just easy but lucrative. GoCat is just one of many that appeared when Wired searched for terms as innocuous as Minions, Thomas the Tank Engine, and cute cats. Many involve Elsa Gate stables like, oh God. No, come on. Pregnant, lingerie-clad versions of Elsa and Anna, but Minions are another big hitter, are as at holy sh... I can't keep reading it now. I can't keep reading this. With titles like Kitten Abused by Its Own Mother, these videos often take the form of fables where kittens are starved, forced to do unpleasant chores, and audibly eaten by their parents with baseball bats or frying pans. They are then taken to the hospital and revived before the parent arrives, apologetic for their actions, as melancholic music or meowing cover of Billie Eilish's What Was I Made For plays in the background. With near identical channel names like Cute Cat AI and Cute Cat of Knee, experts say they're a clear attempt to mislead young audiences. Yeah, I can't read this anymore. I can't do it. Sorry guys, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't read it anymore. I'm gonna lose it. My kid and wife are in the house. I can't. It's I just gotta calm down. I'm not joking. That really angers me. That's so. If I'm going to be objective about this and put my emotions aside, what I would like to do is I would like to take articles like that one, take information that we've covered today. And it's fun for me. It was all fun and games for me to call myself a tech prophet and say, like, I called this a long time ago. I knew things were headed this way. I said it was going to happen. There's a big come to Jesus moment, so to speak, coming, which an article like that makes me believe it even more. But the reality of it is actually far sadder. There isn't anything to laugh about. I don't actually want to be right. Because if I'm right, it means crap like that. That's what me being right means. That's what us being right. It's not just me. I'm actually not actually speaking for myself here. I say that because it's a fun thing to like, prop myself up and like talk about my own hubris and ego. And then you guys get to make fun of me and ha ha ha. It's fun. It is fun. It's funny. Okay. But I know I'm talking on behalf of at least a few people who are also watching right now that this stuff is disgusting and that the path we're headed on with, in particular, AI, but this path, like, who said it? I think Ross said it. It started with the developer experience cult, right? We created this path and we perpetuate it continually, right? It's extremely depressing. It's not a funny path. So if I'm going to take something like that and look at it objectively and go, well, how can I take this message and all this information and all this data and all the arguments and go and debate with people without attacking them and making like personal attacks, right? So I have to remember that I can't get upset about this when I'm talking to other people about the pitfalls of AI. I have to try and remember that, because all I'm going to do now is anybody who's an AI cultist who tries to argue with me that there's like nothing bad about AI or very little that's bad about AI, immediately I'm going to run to this and I'm going to get upset, and I have to remember not to do that. What's important is that when if you're going to talk to people who are in this space and who believe these things, you have to try and stay objective and not get upset and talk about the argument itself, talk about the logic itself, talk about the path that things are leading down itself, and talk about the data itself. That's going to be far more difficult for me today. But if I want to engage people and have a reasonable chance of showing them the dangers and offering them alternatives, like, hey, you don't have to remove AI. AI has a use case over here and over there. Let's just slow it down. Like, right, if that's the goal that I'm trying to get. And same with like developer experience, I would say it's the exact same thing, the same principle, libraries, frameworks, languages, all of the argumentative principles I think are the same here. It's difficult to remove your emotions from it, especially after reading something like that, but I think it's necessary, because this is why I do what I do, and this is why I think you guys watch and support me, because you see it as well as I do, that we're playing with fire. Anyway. Get emotional too when I debate normies. Yeah, it's hard not to get emotional. It's a down the line argument. Yes. Yeah. Don't use the best ammo straight away. Right. I wouldn't jump to this one as the immediate argument. I would try and lay it out kind of like what I did, right? Where I start off with some of the lighter stuff, like, hey, Starbucks tried this, didn't really work for them. Hey, here's a study showing people are moving to this too fast. Let's slow it down, things like that, right? And if I really have to do that, like, well, I really got to hit you hard, so to speak, then probably this. I actually am having a hard time thinking of anything worse than this. I can actually think of one step worse. I'm sure you can all think about one step worse from this. I'm sure you can all think about it. And I know it's been done. I don't even want to say it, but I know you all know what it is. In any case, this ties it all up. I'm way over. I'm an hour and a half on this one, but I felt this was an important one to go over. And to end the stream, I'll reiterate what I went over today with all of you is exactly why I do these daily tech news streams. It's exactly why I do the enlightened programming streams. It's exactly why I even build the stupid video game. I know it looks fun, and it is fun, and we all learn a lot by including myself, by doing like low level crazy stuff on the browser, in ways that people were like, why would you ever do this? It's good. It's fun. But for people who have ears and people who have eyes, listen and see that I'm trying to get a message across. And that message is the current path that we're on, the way that we're building software, websites, AI, the way that we're operating businesses in the tech industry, tech businesses, etc., etc. The current path is wrong. And that's not the end of the message. The end of the message is there is a better path. And I'm trying to prove it by doing what I do. I'm trying to prove it in my own little space, building a stupid little game to show that there are different ways to approach these problems. And I'm trying to show people that a change to make this all better, maybe not go away, but way, way better, way, way better, is so within reach. And hopefully this empowers all the programmers who are watching me right now, anybody who's in a management or executive level position anywhere who might be watching or might watch this later, hopefully gives you information so that you can go out and also carry on this message. Because I'm not doing this for money or views or likes. I'm doing it because I would rather not be streaming. The only reason why I'm streaming and doing this is it's because I saw this 2 years ago. Not exactly in this way, but very similar. Because I knew what these kinds of cult-like ideologies, starting with, as Ross brought out, the developer experience, which again has its use cases, but it's become a cult, and we cater to that way too much. I knew that as things progressed, it was only going to get worse and worse. That's why I'm streaming. And I can't do it alone. Your take is a breath of fresh air. I appreciate it, Frozen. I can't do it alone. And I'm going to just be honest. I desperately need all of your help. Desperately. I'm one person. And it's difficult for me to stand by myself up here. I don't, you guys don't need to go out and stream and do what I do exactly. But engaging with me, pushing back on me, helping me refine my arguments, calling me out when I say or do something stupid, even that helps. Taking this information and talking about it with other people, that's what I would like to see. It's not about the online space or the social. It's about what each individual person out there, you guys, can do with the information that I try and piece together here. That's what's really important to me. And I genuinely hope that there comes a day where people wake up to exactly what Frozen is saying, the grave mistake that we're making. And we change our course, because we can, and it's not hard. It's really, really easy. It's actually really easy. There's a little bit of effort involved, yes, and we have to change the way we think about some things, but we could turn this around like in less than a year. The tech industry, you wouldn't even recognize it. So it's not all doom and gloom, but I am worried that there's going to come a point in the next few years where we can't even turn it around. So please take that to heart. That's why I do what I do. And hopefully you guys can take everything that I'm doing and go carry it on. That's all I can ask for, because it matters to me and my family. And I would like to see everybody benefit from this message, including you and your family. That's what I want to see. Lightspeed, is it just me, or do the most successful views, likes, subs involve some sort of heavy scam? Not always. Not always. I can say that. Not always. I can't talk about who, but I can say that there's probably 2 or 3 people that I know offline that I talk to often, who have a pretty decent sized following, maybe even a big one for one of them. And they're not scammy. They also care. They're just doing it in a different way than I am. That's all. They're trying to encourage programmers to do better things, but in their own way. But what I will say is, for the most part, yes, there is a scam involved. There is a lie being sold. And in some cases, the people who are selling the lie don't even know they're lying. They're lying to themselves, so they feel like they're being genuine and honest. But it's not hard to tell if you just ask a few critical questions and pay some critical attention to how people behave and what people say and so on and so on. If you pay attention, you can pick up on it and you can tell who's who. Hopefully we don't cross the uncanny valley. Thank you, Frozen. That's the term I was looking for. I am worried that there is an uncanny valley, and I don't think we're there yet, and I don't even think we're going to be there in a year. I think there's still lots of time to turn it around. I genuinely believe that. There is some hope here. There's definitely some positive. But I don't see it being like 20 years away. I don't think that. I think even 10 years is stretching it. So I hope we can make a significant enough change before that uncanny valley reaches the industry as a whole, because we're in for a world of hurt. When our children, who have to be raised up in this kind of crap and then have to operate in this world as they become adults with all the stuff that we fed to them because of our poor decisions, because it all started with, let's make developers feel comfy with comfort blankets and developer experience. We're all going to pay for it, all of us, every single one of us. Primogen looks at it as it is, useful tool, but fast track to mistakes. Yeah, I can agree with that. Prime has had some good takes about AI, some reasonable takes about AI. I can agree with that, and I appreciate that he tackled it that way. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna end the stream. I gotta go do dad stuff. I'm super tired. I've barely slept this week. I've got so much going on. I'm trying to do a lot. So I'm gonna go do my thing. I've got two things. Hey, Purecoin. And by the way, Ned Bog from earlier, I didn't say hi to you. Hi, Ned. And I know there's people watching on YouTube and Rumble and X and all that. Thanks for watching, everybody. I have a plan. I have to talk to a few people, some trusted friends, but I think I'm going to take my streaming machine and install Arc on that one. I already have my main machine updated. I'm going to install Arc on the streaming machine and record myself doing it, because I've had a few people ask me to give my take and some information, like a little bit of a video guide. So I'm going to do that off stream and just get some advice on some things to cover, and I'll install it. I'll record the installation and cover some things and make a video out of that. So watch out for that. And then hopefully this weekend, if I do a chill video game stream, I will be on Arc across the board, and you'll get to see what I did. I didn't really do much. I haven't riced it. It's a pretty plain install. So there's that. And yeah, worst case, I'll be back on Monday for more daily tech news. And hopefully something a bit less depressing. Folks, you guys are all awesome. Thanks, Frozen. Thanks, Ross. Yeah, thanks, Chief. Yeah. Thanks, Johnny. Thank you, Laugh. Laugh, I'll reach out to you after Laugh. I want to get that video. Maybe I'll change my mind on the Oblivion thing, but thanks, everybody. I sincerely appreciate all the viewers. I'm privileged to have such awesome viewers and trash talkers and funny people and whatnot. I really do appreciate it. As usual, help me out. There's an algorithm game to play. I hate it, but it's the only way for me to expand my reach so that I can talk to more people like you, and it's working. I'm getting I'm reaching the hundreds of views on my videos because you guys are engaging. The likes, the subscribes, reposting, sharing, all of that. It's not about the money. I say this all the time. You don't have to send me money. I would much rather you refer me for a job or send me contract work or something. That I would rather work for that money. I'm not here to make money off you. I'm here to empower you with information. And in order for me to get this message out to more people, help me out. Help me out with the algorithm, the views, the chats, all of it. Thank you for all your support so far. I'm going to keep going for as long as you guys will have me. And yeah, I'm going to go chill out because I'm a bit upset over that. Have a good day. Have a good night, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. You guys are awesome. I will see you again very, very soon. Please stay safe out there. Please be safe out there. Please. I'm on Discord. You can find the Discord link on all my videos. If you want to talk to me on Discord, I answer all the messages there as fast as I can. Otherwise, I'll talk to you later. Peace. By the way, you all suck. You all suck. All of you suck. Okay? All of you